Hello everyone, this is part 8 of What If Naruto Uchiha joins the Olympians, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
What? Aries looked really shocked. He turned to Naruto. But how? It is a complicated technique. I did learn from my enemy, Naruto said, and a person came out of the coffin. Welcome back to the land of the living Perseus. Percy's jaw dropped on, when he heard the name. He is Perseus, son of Zeus. I think he is, Grover said. He was also the slayer of Medusa. Annabeth said, how did he do that? I don't know, but you can ask him later, Percy said. Zero in the underworld. Zero. Hades was smiling, he was indeed happy. I never know my son can do that. I thought he was joking, but now I do believe in him. He can resurrect the dead, he said. It's the perfect technique for son of dead. He looked at his daughter. What do you think, Melino? She nodded and said, also he can control them with their will or without their will. I can only imagine the Zeus face after seeing this. He will not be happy, because your son has resurrected his demigod son for a fight with his other son, Melino said. Hades said, who cares about him? Zero in Half-Blood Camp. Zero. Perseus, Clarus said. You mean Perseus, Zeus' son? Yes, Chiron said. He was the first of the heroes of Greek. But he's supposed to be dead. Someone from Ares' camp shouted. Tell that to our ninja friend, who has resurrected him, Mr. D said. How? We don't know. Clarus said, don't worry, Perseus don't have super strength like Hercules, father can. What the hell? One Ares' son shouted. Clarus turned to the screen and her jaw dropped on the ground. Her father was sent flying away by Perseus' one punch. Then she looked at Chiron and asked, you said that he is Perseus. Then how the hell he has a super strength? I have no clue, Chiron said. But I'm sure he is Perseus. Mr. D saw Naruto's smirking face. He really knows what to do. Zero with Talia. Zero. Talia saw Naruto brought Perseus back to life to fight with Ares. I know he is the son of the Hades, but he can resurrect the dead. It is, she said to herself. Wow. Zero in the Mount Olympus. Zero. How dare he? Zeus said angrily. A spark of lightning started to come out from his body. Calm down, Zeus, Hera said. He had somehow calmed down. My son, Perseus is a great hero, but he couldn't defeat Ares. He isn't Hercules. Then he saw Ares tossed away from Perseus' single punches. But how? Perseus doesn't have a super strength. It must be the work of Hades' kid, Poseidon said. Zeus asked, he can also do that. I don't know. It's my first time seeing this. Then Ares is in big trouble, because he doesn't know what new Perseus can do, Hestia said. Zero few minutes earlier, back to Naruto. Zero. A man came out from the coffin. He was a handsome young man. He had black hair, but he had gray body in a state of minor decoy, that marred by cracks and other imperfections. He was asleep. He wore a Greek armor, sliver helmet, winged sandals like Hermes. He had a sword in his right hand and reflective shield in his left hand. Naruto pulled out a single kunai from behind him. Attached to the kunai was a sealed tag. He pushed the kunai into the back of the neck of his summoning. The kunai along with the sealed tags were absorbed into Perseus. All of a sudden, Perseus' body regained his original color. His shield and sword disappeared in a flash. He opened his eyes and it was blue with gray sclera. He looked at Ares and said nothing. You brought Perseus back to life, big deal, Ares said arrogantly. I can easily crush him. To prove his point he ran toward Perseus. He raised his fist and tried to punch him, but Perseus caught his punch easily. Then he punched Ares with such force that he sent them flying dozens of meters away. Ares stood up and spit out some sand that got stuck in his mouth. How? He asked. Perseus doesn't have super strength. It's simple, I have modified his body to restore him in his prime, Naruto said. I have also given him some special power. Quickly, Ares moved out from his spot to avoid Perseus' punches. In a few minutes they started exchanging blows and then they broke apart. Ares looked at Perseus. I'll destroy you, he shouted as he summoned multiple fireballs and threw them toward Perseus. In the flash, sword and shield appeared in Perseus' hands. He deflected all small fireballs by a shield. Then he saw a large fireball was coming toward him. His sword was sparking with lightning. He slashed it forward and cut fireball half. Zero with Percy and other Zero. Wow, Grover said. You were lucky. Ares wasn't taking you seriously, Annabeth said to Percy. Yes, I can see that, Percy replied. But Perseus is kicking his butt. Zero back to fight Zero. Ares was narrowly dodged blast of lightning. He saw Perseus was coming toward him with his sword that was sparking with lightning. He stopped Perseus' sword with his own huge, two-handed sword. I will have to end this, Ares though. He twisted, and tried to strike him directly in the spine, but Perseus deflected it with his own sword hilt. There. He saw an opening and cut off Perseus's arm with his sword. This is over, Ares said, and he turned his head toward Perseus. To his horror he saw Perseus' wound was regenerating rapidly. Little movement later he stood up perfectly fine. He picked up his sword and ran toward him. Not again, Ares though. Zero in the Mount Olympus Zero. The god saw Ares had wounded Perseus many times, but each time his wounds had healed instantly. This is impossible, Zeus said. What he did with Perseus' body. You know, Pops, Apollo said. You can't kill someone who's already dead. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm agreeing with my brother, Artemis said. Apollo looked surprised and asked, You do? Yes, she said. Perseus has been already dead, so it's impossible for Ares kill him again. If you were Ares's place, what would you do? Poseidon asked. It's simple, I will try to remove his soul. Or I would seal him, Artemis answered. You are smart, Zeus said, that's why you're my favorite daughter. Artemis smirked at this. Zero back to fight Zero. It was really frustrating for the Ares. He did everything to kill the Perseus, but all had proven useless against him. One last time he used his godly strength. He punched Perseus and sent him flying away. He turned around and looked at Naruto. You coward, he shouted angrily. Come here and fight like a man. He tried to provoke Naruto. Nice try, war god, but I'm not Percy. Anger can only cloud your judgment. Naruto said calmly. Then why are you hiding behind Perseus? Ares taunted. Fight me like a hero. No thanks, because I'm not a hero. Heroes are only in the fairy tale and life is not a fairy tale. In the real world there are no heroes. Ares was surprised at this. In the truth, life is not black or white. It is always shades of gray. People can't understand it. If there wasn't darkness, no one will know about light, and shadow couldn't exist without light. They are dependent opposing forces that flow in a natural cycle. They are always in the balance. Big words, Ares said, and he summoned 2 wild boars. They are larger and uglier than before. The beasts pawed the sand, glaring at Naruto. Kill him. They charged at Naruto. Naruto did some hand sign and slammed a hand on the ground. Kuchio's no jutsu, summoning jutsu, he said, and with a puff of smoke Chimera appeared there. He was looking bigger and more powerful than before. He also had blood-red eyes, which he had never before. Handle them, Naruto said. Chimera roared and sent a stream of fire out of his mouth toward wild boars. Fire destroyed both wild boars completely. Then he walked beside Naruto. Chimera, Ares said, but how? Chimera wanted to come out from his mother's shadow, so I helped him. Now he is my loyal pet, Naruto said. And take my advice, Ares, always keep your eyes on your opponent. Suddenly, Perseus punched him from behind. Zero in Half-Blood Camp Zero. Father is losing, Clarisse said. Perseus not only has super strength, but also he can use lightning. And somehow he can't be killed, Mr. D said. I don't think Ares is going win. Yes, but didn't you notice? Chiron asked. If you are talking about our ninja's new pet, Chimera, Mr. D said. Then yes, I never thought he can control him, but anyway, I'm agreeing with him about heroes. It's only because you hates heroes, Chiron said. Zero with Thalia Zero. Wow, Thalia said. She looked at Chimera and Perseus. He was telling the truth. He is a man of many skills. Then she turned toward Naruto. I also agree with him, she said sadly. Real life is not a fairy tale, because in fairy tale heroes got a happy ending. In reality, Perseus is one of the only heroes in Greek who had a happy ending. She noticed Perseus was beating Ares. One thing's sure, Ares will never forget this battle. Zero in the underworld Zero. He never told me he can summon Chimera, Hades said. This is impressive, so can he give me Chimera for a few days to frighten people? Melino asked. You have to ask him, Hades said, but why do you want him? Because you're already good in this. For a change, Melino said. And when I asked you to give me the Cerberus for a few days, you didn't give to me. Because Cerberus has work to do. He is the gatekeeper, so I can't give him to you. Give him a break, Melino said. He is just a lonely dog. He also deserves some change. I'll think about it, Hades said. But it's good to know, your brother don't want be a hero. Zero in the Mount Olympus Zero. What? Zeus shouted. He also has Chimera. Please don't shout, brother, Poseidon said. And if he can control dead heroes, it shouldn't surprise you, he can also control Chimera. Yes, but it's the first time a demigod can do this, Zeus said. Everything has happened first time, Hera said. But one thing is sure, Hades' son is a good speaker, Hestia said. He can become a good leader. He is also intelligent, Athena said. He has everything planned for Ares. What do you mean? Zeus asked. He must be known someone is trying to starting a war between gods. First he went the underworld with Poseidon's son. Then helped him to come out from the underworld. After that when Ares came to take Master Bolt back, he exposed him in front of all the gods. Then saved Poseidon's son before Ares could kill him. Then summoned Perseus for a fight with Ares, Athena said. In other words, everything was under his control. Then she looked at Naruto. He is genius in war and strategy. If you are telling the truth, Hera said. Then it's not Ares' good day. Zero back to fight Zero. It's not my good day, Ares though. He was fighting with Perseus non-stop and he was getting tired for this. He had many cuts on his body, but they were healing rapidly. As for his opponent, he was perfectly fine and didn't have any sign of tiredness. Unexpectedly, lightning flashed across the dark sky. This is the end, Naruto said. Perseus held his sword up in the sky. Lightning hit the sword and it started to glow. He swung the sword at Ares. Shit. Ares though as a bolt of lightning ripped through the air and hit him in the chest, sending him at sea. Boom. Shockwave flew across the water and then it rippled the ground, sending Annabeth, Percy and Grover staggering. Is it over? Grover asked. Percy said, I think so. Good. Annabeth said. Zero with Talia Zero. Talia took a breath of relief. Finally, she said to herself. It's over. She saw all of them were safe. They are safe. Zero in Half-Blood Camp Zero. Father, Clarice said. He is lost. So this is finally over, someone said from Hermes' cabin. Yes, Chiron said, but he wasn't sure about. Mr. D didn't say anything. Zero in the Mount Olympus Zero. I have a bad feeling about this, Apollo said. Zeus, Poseidon said, do you feel it? Yes, Zeus said. Only one person has this type of power, but he isn't supposed to be here. Aphrodite asked, who? Zero in the underworld Zero. Father, Melino said. I know, Hades said. I haven't sensed this type of evil power before, Melino said. You can only wish you would never sense him again. Aren't you going to warn him? No, Hades said, because he already knows. She was surprised at this. Zero back to Naruto Zero. Your work is done here, Perseus, Naruto said as he made some hand seals. With a puff of smoke a white coffin appeared behind Perseus and then it disappeared with him. Naruto turned his head toward Chimera. You can go now. Chimera bowed to him and then disappeared with a puff of smoke. Naruto walked toward Ares' bike and picked up the Helm of Darkness from its handlebar. Then disappeared and reappeared in front of others. They were shocked by his sudden appearance. Naruto, don't do that. Annabeth shouted. Naruto ignored her. That was awesome. Grover said. Percy took his backpack and gave it to the Naruto. I think Bolt would be safe with you, he said. Naruto took the bolt from his hand. Annabeth said, finally, it's over. No, it's not, Naruto said. What do you mean? Percy asked. Ares is lost. Ares is lost, but the fight isn't over yet, Naruto said. We have to fight someone, who's worse than him. Grover asked, who? Suddenly, light faded. Sound and color drained away. A heavy presence passed over the beach. Percy, Annabeth and Grover felt like life was hopeless, unless seawater where Ares had thrown started to boil. Then with a blast of water Ares came out from it. He was looking different. His skin was now dark, and had red cracks like markings on them. His hair was now spiky. He opened his eyes. They were red like molten lava. What has happened with Ares? Grover asked. Naruto ignored him, and said to Ares. So I was right, Ares was nothing but a puppet. You are a real mastermind. You know, nice, Ares said in a deep voice. It's good to know that someone has a brain. Thanks for compliment, Naruto said. Your plan was good. First your minions stole Bolt and Helm in the winter solstice. Then you took control of Ares' mind by his dream. You suggested him to give Percy that backpack. Then in the underworld you tried to pull us in Tartarus, but when that failed, you told Ares that take Bolt back from Percy and kill him. Because it will start a war between gods. Then again it failed. However, Ares had become weak after Perseus' attack, so you took this chance and took complete control of him, and you also tried to control us. Yes, but I failed because of you, Ares said. Now like a good kid gave me the helm and bolt. Naruto showed him both weapons. If you want them, he said. Then both weapons disappeared in his personal dimension. Then you'll have to take it from me. Grandpa. Percy, Annabeth and Grover were shocked by this. Zero with Talia 0. Grandpa. Talia said to herself. Then sudden realization hit her. It can't be him. She looked at Naruto. He knows. Then why is he so calm? Zero in Half-Blood Camp 0. Father, Chiron though. What has happened to the father? Clarice asked. He is not your father, Mr. D said. What? Clarice asked. But. I mean someone has controlling his body, Mr. D said. Is it possible? One boy from Athena's cabin asked. Ares is the god. But he is more powerful than the gods, Chiron said. Who is he? Beckendorf asked. Chiron said, he is. Quote. Zero in the Mount Olympus 0. Cronus, Zeus said angrily. We should know that he is responsible for this entire thing, Poseidon said. We are foolish, because without thinking we had started to blame each other. At least you have agreed you are foolish, Hera said. We need to stop Father because he is not in his full power, Zeus said. Wait, Hestia said. She pointed toward Naruto. He knows everything, but why is he so calm? He must have something for the Cronus, Athena said. We'll wait and see, Zeus said, and all gods had agreed with him. Zero back to fight Zero. Grandpa. Grover said. He is a Titan Lord, Cronus, Annabeth said in fear. Their faces became pale with fear. How is this possible? Percy asked. He is supposed to be in Tartarus. As I thought you were far different than other, Cronus said, son of Hades, or should I call you Black Dragon? Naruto narrowed his eyes and asked, how do you know my bingo book's name? When you stopped me from entering into your and Poseidon's son's mind. I did send some my minions in the Element Nation. They found something on you, Chorus said. Naruto Uchiha, the Black Dragon. The youngest S-rank shinobi. He can destroy an army. He can kill any person without lifting his finger. He is the shinobi of godlike powers. This is many things they found on you. They also told me who are you. And what were you? Naruto didn't say anything. The child of prophecy. The child of prophecy. Grover asked. Chorus heard him, and said, let me tell you what prophecy is. The child will bear with greater power. He will face greatest evil. Then he will decide the fate of the universe. He will protect it or destroy it. It is one of the oldest prophecies. He pointed toward Naruto. Your friend, he was the child of the property and he is the slayer of the one-eyed god, Jubi. Zero in the underworld 0. My son was child of prophecy, Hades said. Wow. You are happy, because you can finally brag about your son in front of Zeus like he does with his son, Hercules, Melino said. You don't know how annoying this is. Now, I can finally tell him, how my son is more powerful than his. Zero with Talia 0. Child of the prophecy, Talia said, he never told me about this. Then she looked at Cronus. Now, how is he going to fight with him? Zero in Half-Blood Camp 0. Child of the prophecy, Chiron said. Mr. D said, well, this is interesting. What is the Jubi? Selena asked. He is a beast. He is considered to be the progenitor of the ninja world as well as a signal of the beginning of the end of the universe, should it ever be revived. It's said that it possesses neither ideals nor feelings and he was an innate, natural force, Chiron explained. Zero in the Mount Olympus 0. He was a child of prophecy, Poseidon said. I never expected it. Now, this explains about his power, Athena said. Now, let's see how he is going to handle Father, Zeus said. They all looked at the screen. Zero back to fight Zero. Do you know what did have confused me? It is your age, Chorus said. You should be 18 years old, not a 14. I don't need to explain to you, Naruto said. Then give me those weapons, Chorus ordered. You don't have anything in your sleeve. You have already used Perseus and he is useless against me. Naruto didn't do anything. So this is your answer. His hand suddenly turned to magma, taking a claw shape, and he sent it at Naruto. Naruto looked at claw was coming toward him. He held his hand forward and said, "Arc of time, fast forward." Suddenly, magma started to cool down and had become solid in few seconds. Disappear, he said, and solid magma disappeared in golden brown dust. What? Cronus shouted. Then he looked at Naruto. How? Battle is like a game of chess. To win, always think 2 steps ahead of your opponent. What the ancients called a clever fighter is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease, Naruto said calmly. As for your question, it is just a side effect of new power. He made one-handed seal. You know what Cronus, the father of time, told me, when he had given me this power, I'll need this in future. Now, I know what he was talking about. The diamond on his forehead started to shine. Arc of time. Instantly, his body lit up with a surge of blue light and formed a dark blue bubble around him. It became bigger and turned pitch black. Once the black bubble disappeared, standing in Naruto place was his 18 years old version. He was handsome, tall, athletic build. He had spiky black, shoulder-length hair, and red divine tattoos on both of his shoulders. He was wearing a black sleeveless under armor that showed off his muscles. He was also wearing black pants, a pair of black shoes, fingerless gloves and metal arm guards. He opened his purple slitted eyes. Zero in the underworld, Zero. Melino said, you know, if he wasn't my half-brother. I don't want to know, Hades said suddenly. Just look at the fight, it will be started soon. Whatever, father. Zero with Talia. Zero. Talia looked at the new Naruto with large blush on her. Naruto will look like this, she said. He is more handsome than before. Somehow she did control her blush and said, but how he did it? I will ask him later, she thought. Zero in Half-Blood Camp. Zero. All girls in the camp, mainly from Aphrodite's cabin, were blushing madly. And the boys, they were jealous of him. Wow. He is more handsome than before. Look at his muscles. I want. Chiron sweat dropped at their behavior. Certainly he is lot of popular in the girls. Mr. D commented. Zero in the Mount Olympus. Zero. Well, what I told you, he will become handsome hunk, Aphrodite said to Artemis. Artemis ignored her and said, he has eyes of warrior. So you liked his eyes, Aphrodite said. Wow, I never thought you will like someone. Then she looked at Naruto. You will be perfect couple, he can also change his age like you. Shut up, Artemis said angrily. This boy has surprised me again, Poseidon said. Yes, Hestia said. I'm also surprised he can control the time. Let's see, Hera said. How many surprises he has stored for us. Yes, I want to see, if he can really handle father, Zeus said. Zero back to fight. Zero. Percy and Grover's jaws dropped on the ground. You are right, Annabeth. He can do anything, Percy said. When he didn't get response, both he and Grover turned toward Annabeth. They saw her face was red and she was looking at Naruto with a dreamy expression. She is blushing, they thought. Percy didn't know, but he felt jealousy toward Naruto. Annabeth, Annabeth, Grover shouted. Annabeth. Huh? What? She asked. I never thought you liked Naruto, Grover said. No, 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 Annabeth shouted. He is like a brother to me. Percy breathed sigh of relief. They looked at Naruto. Naruto looked at Cronus, showed his sharp canine teeth on each side of the mouth. Interesting, Cronus said, but this is not going to help you. Really? Naruto said as a burst of visible black chakra erupted from him and a large amount of killing intent washed over the beach. Percy, Annabeth and Grover found it hard to breathe, and the killing intent wasn't even directed at them. Cronus wasn't affected, but he was surprised at this. Are you ready? Naruto said. Don't blink. Cronus' eyes widened as he heard a voice from behind him. Naruto front of him had disappeared. Naruto buried his fist in Cronus' gut, and then nailed him with a right hook that sent him flying. With a burst of speed he appeared front of Cronus. He picked him up and threw him into the air. He then appeared above him and sent him back down with a bone-crushing blow. Boom. That sent a shock wave through the ocean as everything had happened in an instant. Percy opened his eyes and found out that they all were safe. But how? He asked to himself. Grover said, "Hey look." Then Percy saw the whole beach protected by black transparent shield. "Who did this?" Annabeth asked. "Me," Karasu said as she sat on Annabeth's left shoulder. "Karasu," Annabeth said. Percy asked, "But why?" "To keep damage least as possible." Percy nodded his head. They turned and looked at the fight. They saw Naruto was standing far away from Cronus, who was lying on the ground motionless. "Wake up," Naruto said in an emotionless tone. "You can't fool me." "Ha ha ha." Cronus started to laugh and stood up on his feet. "That was a nice punch," he said. "It's my turn." He held out his hand, palm up. In the air just inches from his hand, a fireball began to form. At first, it appeared as just a spark, but it quickly grew until it was the size of a basketball. He hurled it directly at Naruto's head. Just as the fireball was to reach him, Naruto dematerialized, allowing the burning globe to pass right through him. With a blink of the eye, he appeared front of Cronus and tried to punch him. However, he sidestepped, and hit him in the throat, sending him crashing to the floor. Cronus glared down at him, preparing another fireball, but he quickly jumped up and swept his leg out from under him, putting him on his back. Both of them stood up on their feet. Cronus rushed forward, but sent staggering backward as large sand hit him square in the chest. However, it didn't stop him for long. As soon as Sand Blast had passed, he moved toward Naruto. Cronus clapped his hands together, sending a shockwave directly at the Naruto. When the shockwave hit him, he was sent flying through several police cars, sending splintered glass flying in every direction, until he finally crashed hard through the wall. Cronus appeared front of Naruto. He held his hand front his face and prepared for fireball. "Any last word?" he asked. "Yes," Naruto said as he pointed at the beach. Cronus turned around and saw another Naruto was standing there. Reality is nothing but an illusion. And he vanished with a murder of crows. Next thing Cronus was known that he was standing front of Naruto. Like nothing had happened there. "How? Illusion," Naruto said. "Now, it has time to change our battleground." And he appeared behind Cronus. He held his hand. "Let's go," he said as a dimensional gate opened beneath their feet and they were gone. "They disappeared," Grover said. "Where are they now?" Annabeth asked Karasu. Karasu said, "Let me show you." Suddenly, their surroundings started to change and they found themselves in. "Where are we?" Percy asked. "North Pole," Karasu said. "But why I'm not feeling cold?" Grover asked. "Because it's an illusion." "Oh, there," Annabeth said as she pointed to another direction. Both Percy and Grover turned around, and saw Naruto and Cronus were facing each other. "If you are thinking this cold place can weaken my magma then you are wrong," Cronus said. "This isn't going to help you. And your illusion trick won't work on me again." He dashed toward Naruto. Cronus cocked back his arm with the intention of smashing his fist into Naruto's face. Naruto dodged Cronus' fast punch with ease, sending his own counter punch deep into his stomach, causing him to stagger slightly, but it didn't cause nearly as much damage. Both of them were throwing punch after punch at each other, which splintered the air around them and created shock waves. A few minutes later they moved away from each other. "Take this," Cronus shouted as he started to gather large amounts of magma in his hand and sent waves of magma toward Naruto. At same time Naruto did some hand sign. Suten, Susaha, water release, water colliding wave, with that spiraling vortex of water appeared around him. Lava began to cool down, because of the cold water. Then he made another set of hand seal. Suten, Suiruden no Jutsu, water release, water dragon bullet technique, as a large amount of water gathered from earlier technique, and took a form of a dragon. The dragon roared at Cronus and charged at him. Cronus looked at Water Dragon, coming at him. He formed a large sword in his right hand by using lava and cut a dragon in half. "So it's true," Cronus said, "you can control all 5 elements." He smiled evilly and his eyes turned in golden color. "Nice. Playtime is over." As an ominous golden energy appeared around his body and shot out in small bursts of energy. Naruto closed his eyes, and said, "Yes. Playtime is over." He opened up his eyes, revealing the Sharingan in both of them. Then an equally powerful but more sinful black energy shot out from his body. His energy is sinister than mine, Cronus thought. Both of them began powering up, and their energy became denser. Ice under their feet started to crack and melt. Zero in the underworld. Zero. Hades and Melino both felt Naruto and Cronus' aura. Father, Melino said. His energy is sinister than father, Hades though. Father, yes, his energy. I know, but it also has the divine nature. Zero in Half-Blood Camp 0. Whole camp found hard to breathe, and few of them passed out. It's 2. I can't breathe. What is this? Clarice asked as he did try to not pass out. You all are feeling Cronus and Naruto's powers here, Chiron said. He and Mr. D weren't affected by this. Why? Because all demigods have better senses than mortal. Chiron looked on screen. He is pretty much holding against the father. Then noticed pressure somehow had lifted and all campers were feeling better. 0 in the Mount Olympus 0. Whole Olympus was feeling powerful and malevolent energy, which was coming out from Naruto and Cronus. His energy is darker than father, Hestia said. It feels divine and demonic at the same time, Athena said. We will have to do something about it, Zeus said. We can't, Poseidon said. Why? If you do anything with him, his grandmother, Amaterasu will declare war against us. And don't forget Hades and Chaos. They will also not happy about this, Athena said. So you can't do anything with him, Hera said. Boom. Wow. Apollo said. He was watching Naruto and Cronus were exchanging blows. Cronus isn't in his full power, but Hades' son is matched up his power, Hephaestus said. He is strong, handsome, mysterious, intelligent and dark. He is perfect, Aphrodite said. Can't you leave him alone for a while? Artemis said. Are you jealous, because I'm looking at your love interest? Aphrodite said. Artemis shouted angrily, I'm not jealous and he is not my love interest. Denial is the first stage of acceptance. I am not, Artemis said. And he is just a demigod. I'm not sure. What do you mean? I mean his great-grandfather is primary god. His grandmother is a goddess. Then his father is also god, Aphrodite said. If I'm correct, he's more than a demigod. Suddenly, all gods froze and looked at her strangely. What? She asked. It's the first time you said something intelligent, Hephaestus said. How could I forget this? Athena said. He is not a demigod or god. He is closer to God. 0 back to fight 0. Naruto and Cronus were exchanging blow after blow. Quickly, Naruto found an opening, punched Cronus and sent him flying away. Cronus stood up on his feet. You are powerful, he said. Come and join me. No, I don't like to be controlled by anyone, Naruto said, because it is my job to control other. Very well, Cronus said. He held hands up and prepared for fireball, but Naruto suddenly appeared front of him and caught his hand. Sorry, but we are going, he said as both disappeared in Dimension Gate. They appeared far away from North Pole. Looking around, Cronus noticed they were in the forest. Where are we? He asked Naruto. We are in the Amazon rainforest, Naruto said. This is our next battleground. I don't care about the ground, Cronus said, because I can kill you anywhere. He hurried forward with a punch but Naruto ducked and sent a right jab at Cronus' gut but the Titan Lord pushed it away with his own hand before launching a roundhouse kick which Naruto caught on his forearm. Both of them sailed several feet away from each other, then whirled around and charged, their fists meeting before him with such force that the ground beneath them seemed to explode. Cronus moved away from Naruto and sent a river of lava toward Naruto. Naruto jumped away from a large amount of magma that was about to engulf him. The magma continued moving closer and closer, forcing him to keep on jumping back. It was also destroying everything in its path. If I didn't do anything, it will destroy a whole forest, Naruto though. Terra Force. He shouted as he slammed his hands on the ground, splitting front of ground in half. Lava that was heading toward him started to fall down in the gap. He waved his hand and closed gap completely. Suddenly, the sword pierced his chest, going straight through his heart. This is your end, said Cronus from behind him, and he was holding sword. 0 with Talia 0. Naruto. Talia shouted as she saw a sword piercing his heart. There were tears rolling down her face. Naruto. However, she stopped when she heard Naruto was chuckling, like nothing had happened to him. What? She said as cracks started to form around his body. She wiped her tears. Naruto, I think we need to talk about this, she said angrily. 0 back to fight 0. Cracks started to form around Naruto's body until he reduced to a pile of wood. Cronus shouted, What? A wood clone? Naruto said as he came out from inside the tree. It's one of my favorite techniques. Then he started to make some hand sign. Mokoten Haijutsu, Jukai Koten, would release secret technique, nativity of a world of trees, he said as trees began to grow out of the ground and towards the Cronus. Cronus attempted to destroy growing trees by using his magma, but it was useless, because trees were growing fast. He jumped back for avoiding trees. He saw all forest had restored back normal. Hornet, Naruto said as he right-hand glove transforms in red-black gauntlet. He smirked and merged himself in a tree. He came out from behind Cronus and slashed his back. Then he merged back into the tree again. Ah! Cronus screamed as swirling-shaped tattoo appeared on his body. Angrily he turned back and he threw a fireball at the tree, destroyed it completely. Naruto appeared beside him. He cut him again and merged into another tree. Ah! Where are you? Cronus shouted. Stop hiding. He summoned multiple fireballs and tossed them in different directions. Zero back to Camp Zero. They saw swirling-shaped tattoo on Cronus' body and his blood was dripping from it. Interesting, Mr. D said. He can use his power efficiently. Kyron nodded. Zero with Percy and other Zero. Wow. Grover said. It is best fight I have seen in my life. Annabeth said, how many fights? 2. No 3. If I do count Ares and Percy's fight. Grover said, no. 6. 7. I don't remember. He looked Naruto and Cronus fight. Anyway, this is best fight. Zero back to fight Zero. Naruto emerged from ground front of Cronus and struck his stringer on one tattoo. What? Cronus shouted as he looked at his left hand. It slowly turned to stone. What did you do with me? It is simple. For mortals and monsters, Hornet means death in 2 steps, Naruto said. But with immortals, it means 2 steps of a petrification. It turns them in stone for some time period. He made a gesture with his hand. Time to go. As the dimension gate opened between them and they vanished in it. Zero in the underworld Zero. What is special in his weapon? Melino asked. It's called Hornet, Hades said. Its stringer has a deadly substance in it, and after mixing with Naruto's power it makes powerful venom. It kills mortals, but for immortals, it turns them stone. For how much time, it turns them into stone? Melino asked. It depends on Naruto and a person he has used, Hades said. If Naruto wants he can free them anytime. However, if a person is strong, he can cure himself. But it will take some time. He looked at his son. But why hasn't he used his strongest poison on Father? Zero in the Mount Olympus Zero. Nice weapon, Hephaestus said, but it can also harm mortals. Only Hades can give this type of weapon to his children, Poseidon said. Then they saw both Naruto and Cronus disappeared again. Why he is changing places? Aphrodite asked. To take the advantages of surrounding, Athena said. First he went North Pole, where he can use his water techniques. After that they were in the Amazon rainforest, so he can take advantage of forest for hiding. Now they are in some unknown island, Apollo said as he pointed at the screen. Zero back to fight Zero. Thunder. Loud cracking sounds fill the air. The intensity of its roar causes the ground to shake. Naruto saw Cronus' left shoulder had become stone. How are you feeling, Grandpa? He asked. You. Cronus shouted. I'll kill you. He stomped so hard on the ground that it cracked and made a huge fissure. Come my minions, rise for your master, let your evil shine. And Cronus' minions started to rise from the cracks. Most of them were the size of a human in height. They had 2 upper bodies attached by the backs, and 2 heads. They had 4 short blade swords, 2 in each hand. Next to them were 2-headed dogs, big scorpions. Their bodies had made by molten magma and stone. Then another monster came out from the crack. He had humanoid body and he was 15 feet tall. He had bone-like face, 3 fingers on its 2 hands, and like other his body had made by molten magma and stone. Interesting, Naruto said to himself. This will keep him busy, Cronus thought as he looked at his left side. He was trying to turn it back to normal. Because it will take some time. Suddenly, the giant lunged forward toward Naruto. He raised his hand and tried to punch him. Pathetic, Naruto said as his eyes turned in the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan form. He caught Giant Hand easily. Then Naruto disappeared and reappeared behind Giant as the giant hand fell down and lava started to pour down from his wound. Naruto looked at the others. Then he punched the ground in front of him, sending all Cronus minions flying away. Zero in Half-Blood Camp Zero. Whole camp saw a large crater on the ground. Wow! Someone shouted from Hermes' cabin. He has strength like Hercules, Beckendorf said. Yes, Clarice said, and he is fighting with all monsters alone. Zero in the underworld. Zero. Now, that is my son, Hades said happily. Yes, impressive strength, Melino said. Zero in the Mount Olympus. Zero. All gods were watching Naruto as he was destroying Cronus minions with his bare hand. He has super strength like Hercules, Apollo said. And he also has a super speed, Artemis said. But what are father doing? Hestia asked. They all looked at Cronus. Zeus narrowed his eyes and said, he is trying to heal himself. Zero back to fight. Zero. Just a few more minutes, Cronus thought. Then he watched Naruto, who was destroying his minions. How could a demigod possess such power? Naruto blocked the sword from two-headed soldiers with his gauntlet. Then he punched in his face with another hand, destroying him completely. One scorpion swung his tail at him, who easily avoided the attack, sidestepping before kicking it in the back, sending him to the ground. Again two soldiers attacked together, making vicious swings at him, who easily avoided their swings. Next he caught two-headed dog's jaw, who had tried to bite him. Bad dog, he said, and he absorbed him in his personal dimension. He turned and found himself surrounded by minions. They lunged forward to attack him, but they all were blown away by the black lightning before they could make contact. Naruto was standing the middle of ground with black lightning crackling around his body. He disappeared and reappeared away from them with leaving tails of lighting behind him as remaining minions fell on the ground. Naruto turned on the giant, who was rushing toward him. With a rush of speed, Naruto appeared above the giant and cut him half using black lightning. Kuroi Kaminari, black lightning. Zero in the Mount Olympus. Zero. What? Zeus shouted, how Hades' son can use lightning. Why are you shouting? Poseidon said, because I didn't shout, when he used water technique. But black lightning. Even I can't use black color lightning, Zeus said. Where did he learn to use black color lightning? You have to ask him. Zero with Percy and other Zero. The black lightning. Annabeth said. Can any of you have heard about black lightning? No, Percy said, but how lightning had shred them. Zero back to fight. Zero. All of a sudden someone threw a sword at him. It should have connected straight to the heart, but it just passed through him. Welcome back in the battle, Naruto said. Grandpa. He looked at direction from where the sword had thrown at him. He saw Cronus was perfectly fine. His left side was normal now. No more game. Cronus screamed angrily. No more game. Then his eyes became golden yellow and magma started to cover his entire body. He began changing his shape and transformed in giant humanoid monster. Naruto looked at new Cronus. He was 25 feet tall. He had sharp teeth and golden eyes. His whole body made of golden red magma and black stone. Cronus opened his large mouth and summoned a large fireball. He threw it toward Naruto. Naruto looked at the fireball heading toward him. He deflected it using the space-time technique and sent it in the ocean. Then in a burst of speed he disappeared and cut off Cronus' right arm using wind chakra, but Naruto narrowed his eyes when he saw his arm was regenerating. This is useless, child of prophecy, Cronus said, and he sent another fireball at Naruto. Naruto deflected fireball again. He opened his right palm. Come here and help me, my death princess, he said as a flash of black light a beautiful black katana appeared in his hand. He swung katana, sending a wave of black energy from her. The attack slammed into Cronus. Cronus roared in pain as a huge cut mark appeared on his shoulder, and golden magma started to pour down from his wound. Then he noticed his wound wasn't healing. How? Any wound made by Death Princess can't heal easily. Her power prevents healing power from working properly, Naruto said, and he sent another wave. Cronus narrowly dodged that attack, but stuck on the tree behind him. The tree started to lose its color, leaves became dry, curled and turned yellow. Like someone was sucking its life. In the few seconds it turned into ash. Cronus roared and splat massive glob of magma toward him. Naruto held his sword in front of him. Protect my death princess, he said as a black shield formed around him, cancelling the Cronus attack efficiently. It's her second ability. She can cancel any magical attack, Naruto said. Now, it's my turn. His katana began glowing black with energy. He slashed it forward and sent a blast of black energy at Cronus. Cronus clapped his hands, and then a huge wall of magma appeared in front of him. But it was his fatal mistakes as blast easily destroys the wall and slammed on him. Next thing Cronus felt sharp pain in his entire body. Then Naruto appeared above him and shoved his katana in his heart. Goodbye, Naruto said as he jumped back on the ground, leaving katana in Cronus' body. Magma on his body started to solidify. Then his whole body crumbled away, leaving Cronus in his original form. How? Cronus thought. Then he saw black katana was lying on the ground near him. This is a powerful weapon. He stood up on his feet and looked at Naruto. If I can't get Bolt and Helm then I'm taking this from you, he said as he bent down to picked up katana. When touched handle, a blast of electricity hit him, sending him flying away. Cronus stood up and looked at his badly burned hand. But how? Death Princess is not just a weapon. She is part of my soul. Only I can weld her. Suddenly, Naruto's voice came from behind him. Goodbye. Naruto shoved his katana in his body. He pulled back his katana as Cronus' body fell on the ground and melted away in magma. Naruto disappeared in swirling of the vortex. Naruto appeared above the island and he sustained himself in midair. He held his hand out in front of him as a swirling ball of energy formed in his palm. It was pitch black and had 4 white rings around it. Void style, instant black hole. He said and threw it on the island. As the ball touched the ground, it expanded and covered complete island with his black energy. Then it began to shrink and completely disappeared at one point. After that in place of the island there was nothing left other than sea water. Naruto smirked slightly on his work and disappeared in Dimension Gate. 0 in Half-Blood Camp 0. All campers were speechless when they saw Naruto's last attack, but Ares' cabin was in shock. Father, Clarice said. Is he dead? No. Chiron said, Ares is gods. He is immortals. He will be reformed evenly in the Mount Olympus. 0 with Talia 0. Finally, Talia said, it's over. Then she thought about Naruto's last attack. I've never seen something like that before. 0 in the Underworld 0. Hades and Melino saw how Naruto had destroyed whole island with the black swirling ball. That is impressive, Melino said. Yes, it is, Hades said. I like his style. It is destructive. 0 in the Mount Olympus 0. He destroyed whole island, Poseidon said in surprised tone. He turned to Zeus. Did you see anything like that? Zeus shook his head and said, no. Like its name, his attack is a miniature version of black hole. Athena explained. First energy ball expands on all places, and then it shrinks and absorbs all things within its range in the center. It is truly a dangerous attack, Zeus said and Poseidon nodded. Apollo looked at Hephaestus, saw he was in deep thought. What are you thinking? He asked. About his weapon, Hephaestus answered. Artemis said, you mean that black katana? He nodded. What about it? Do you see what happened with Cronus when he touched the katana? Hephaestus asked. Yes. Apollo said, boom. Yes. Hephaestus said, it must be a katana's defense mechanism. I am thinking how I can recreate it for our weapon. It is a good idea so no one can steal our weapon, Artemis said. Apollo said, you know what, Hades kid has got all the good things. 0 with Percy and other 0. So it's over, Percy said. Yes, Annabeth said. All of a sudden from the Dimension Gate Naruto appeared front of them. Naruto. Grover shouted. That was awesome. Your last attack was. Then he began to speak many things about him. Then when you. Thanks for your compliment, Grover, Naruto said. He turned toward Annabeth and Percy. We don't have time, we have to hurry, Annabeth said. Don't worry Annabeth, Naruto said. All Olympus and Half-Blood Camp knows that Percy is not thief. How? It's simple. They are watching us from start. What? Percy shouted. Then what about my mother? I'll talk to my father about this, Naruto said. Thanks. Naruto turned back quickly and caught Fireball with his hand which was aimed for his head. All of them looked at back and saw Cronus. He had a large wound on his body and he was angry. This is not over, he shouted as he summoned a large fireball. It was 10 times bigger than him. Goodbye. Then he threw at Naruto. Annabeth, Percy and Grover were panicking as they saw a large fireball was coming toward them. Shit. We're going to die. Naruto, do something. Naruto watched at a fireball calmly. It slammed on them and a large smoke erupted from it. Cronus started to laugh evilly. Finally, he said. Then smoke started to clear. What? He saw a giant humanoid skeleton, but he didn't have a lower half. He had heavy chains wrapped across his right shoulder and arm, while his left hand was holding giant shield. His third hand was holding a sake jar. When he removed shield from him, Cronus saw all of them were perfectly fine in inside, and Naruto was releasing pinch black aura. Naruto walked forward and Skeleton moved with him. His aura increased and Skeleton started to transform. Now he was looking like more dark warrior than a skeleton. He was wearing black Oni-gui mask. The mask had large horns, blood-red eyes, a sinister-looking smile and sharp teeth. He was also wearing a pair of Magatama earrings. His whole body was hidden behind a large cloak, which looked like it had formed the same material from Hades' robes. In his left hand was a large circular shield. It was pure black and shining brightly like a mirror. Naruto opened his both eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and said, "Susanoo. 0 in Half-Blood Camp 0. What is this?" said one of the campers. Many campers were now starting afraid with Dark Warrior. "He is scary. His eyes." "Mr. D," Chiron said, "do you see a shield in his hand?" Mr. D said, "Yes, Yata Mirror." "What is so special about this shield?" Clarice asked. "This is Yata Mirror. It's one of the strongest shields. It is considered one of the 3 sacred treasures. It is said to be endowed with all nature's transformations and as such changes its own characteristics depending on those of the attack it receives, making the attack entirely ineffective," Mr. D explained. 0 back to fight 0. Before Cronus could know he was wrapped in black chains, which were coming out from Naruto's Susanoo. He tried to use his strength to free himself, but all turned out useless. "Don't bother," Naruto said. "They made out special substance. It can negate any abilities and powers." He pulled Cronus toward him by using chains and caught him by Susanoo's right hand. He held him at his eye level. "It's time to free the Ares from your control." 0 inside of Ares' mind 0. Ares' mind was a war zone. It had red sky and there were arrows, swords lying on the ground. He also found several human skeletons pinned by arrows and swords on the ground. Naruto started to walk and soon found himself in front of Ares. He saw Ares was trapped in lava and he was unconscious. Then Naruto saw large golden red energy and 2 evil golden eyes looming behind Ares. It was Cronus. "What are you doing here?" Cronus asked angrily. "Your time is over," Naruto said. "Go back. You're foolish, child of prophecy," Cronus said evilly. "First I'll kill you, and then I'll take your body." Then he sent a blast of golden energy toward Naruto. Suddenly white shield formed around Naruto and protected him from Cronus. "This is useless," he said as a diamond on his forehead began to shine. Holy light. Then everything went white. 0 outside of Ares' mind 0. Naruto's Susanoo dropped Cronus on the ground. A few minutes later, a golden red energy started coming out of the Cronus body. After the bright flash, Cronus turned back in Ares. "I'll never forget this." Cronus' voice was coming out from golden red energy ball, which was hovering over Ares. "Mark my W." He was cut off as Susanoo thrust his sword inside the ball. "You talks too much," Naruto said as golden red ball absorbed into a sword. Then he sheathed it back to in a sake jar. Naruto let his Susanoo disappeared. He knelt in front of Ares. He is fine, he thought and absorbed Ares in his personal dimension. Naruto stood up on his feet. "Showtime is over," he said as his eyes flashed red with 9 commas in them. 0 in the Mount Olympus 0. "Showtime is over," Naruto said. All gods saw the large red symbol on the screen, and then screen vanished in white light. "So show is over," Apollo said. "Yes," Hephaestus said. "Zeus, did you see a shield and sword in his hand?" Hestia asked. Zeus nodded. "Yata mirror and sword of Totsuka," he said. "The shield that can stop anything," Hephaestus said, "and the sword that can seal everything." "So what happened with Ares and Master Bolt?" Aphrodite asked. "We will know very soon," Poseidon said. 0 with Thalia 0. Thalia saw Cronus was gone. "So this is really over now." She looked at Naruto. His last technique was scary. She said. Screen front of her disappeared in a flash. 0 in Half-Blood Camp 0. Screen front of them vanished in bright light. "Is this over?" Selena asked hopefully. "I think so," Beckendorf said. "So father is finally gone, Chiron though." "This was a very interesting battle," Mr. D said. 0 with Percy and other 0. Naruto appeared front of them. "This is over," he said and in a bright flash of light, he returned in his 14 years old self. He fell to his knees, breathing heavily. Percy, Annabeth and Grover ran toward him. Are you alright, Naruto? Annabeth asked. This transformation takes too much energy. I would have to practice my powers more, Naruto said. So is this over? Percy asked, because Cronus is gone. No, Naruto said as he stood up. What do you mean? Grover asked. Cronus is not gone. He is in Tartarus. I have only sealed part of him, Naruto said. Also quest is not over. We have to return Master Bolt to Zeus. Sorry, Grover said. I never thought about it. But we have to do something about them, Naruto pointed toward unconscious cops. Karasu-chan. Karasu flew from Annabeth's shoulder and landed on Naruto's shoulder. Her left eye changed in Mangekyo Sharingan. Kotoa Matsukami. With that flock of crows appeared around them and each crows entered in unconscious cops and reporters. Percy asked, what did she do? She simply has altered their memories, Naruto said and he started to walk away. Where are you going? Grover asked. To Underworld, Naruto said. To return Helm to my father. He stopped and turned to Percy. And Percy, this is your only chance to prove media that you're innocent. What do you mean? Percy asked, but he saw Naruto wasn't there. Zero in the Underworld. Zero. Do you see anything like this? Melino asked. Yes, Hades said. It's called Susanoo, one of the strongest armor. Naruto's mother was able to use this technique, but her version was different. Suddenly Furies appeared in the throne room. Master, one of them said. Hades said, yes. Can we go to collect the helm from the young master? No. He is coming here. They nodded and disappeared in black smoke. Young master, Melino said. They called little brother young master. Suddenly, Naruto appeared front of them. In his left hand, he was holding Helm of Darkness. I think this is yours. He said and threw Helm toward his father. Little brother, Melino said. Yes. Can I borrow your chimera for a few days? I think I have better options, Naruto said and he held hand front of him. Then from the swirling of vortex two-headed dog appeared. This is for you. Hades said, is that Cronus minion? Naruto said. But I have reprogrammed it. For now it's your pet. Sister. Melino said, thanks for gift. Naruto said, no problem. A dimension gate opened behind him. Where you are going? Hades asked. Some personal work, Naruto said. See you soon. He disappeared in a gate. Melino looked at her new pet. Your name is Fluffy, she said happily. Zero in Naruto's personal dimension. Zero. Naruto was standing on one of the circular platform in his personal dimension. He did gesture of hands and one wooden pole rose from the ground. He held his hand out in front of him and golden red ball appeared in his palm. Then he puts the ball on wooden poles. What are you going to do with it, master? Karasu asked as she landed on his shoulder. You know what my grandfather had done with Hiroshima Cell. You mean, with this ball, I can get Cronus both DNA and powers. So it's simple. I'm going to implant Cronus's power and DNA in me, Naruto said with a smirk. Because someone's loss is someone's gain. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.